compare this on a not a rivalry statue. Obviously, neither one of these guys have done anything. But when you see you have one player, you have a LeBron and Kobe that we never actually saw in a championship forum. How did these players match up in your eyes as far as when these two on the court? That's must-see basketball.
Yeah, I think that every game that they play against each other should be on national TV. I think this is the new Shaq versus Tim Duncan battle that you get, or the new Shaq versus Hakeem battle that you get. I think that Wemby has made it very clear and abundant that he is light years ahead of Chet. But I think Chet, and I said this on one of my shows, I think Chet has the potential to be as good as Kevin Garnett. But I think Wemby has the potential to be a top 5 basketball player ever. Like there is literally nothing on the basketball floor he cannot do.
Where do you have KG? If you say Chet can be a better version of KG, where do you have KG in the?
I didn't say a better version. He could be as good as KG.
Where do you have KG? Like in the?
I got KG and I got KG like I got him like in the 20 to 25 range. Sometimes I argue that he's at 15.
So top 15
because Kevin Garnett was actually my favorite player growing up. Like when I used to have Kobe Bryant's courtside in NBA Live, I would always play with the Timberwolves. I would play with Kevin Garnett, and I would move him from the center or the power forward to the 3 or the point guard, and I would run the team with him as the 3 or the point guard. And then I could have the ball in his hands. He could make shots from the mid-range. He could dribble. He could pass it. He was a hellacious defender. Like Kevin Garnett was one of my favorite players ever growing up. He don't really crack my top 8 no more, but growing up, he was definitely, before I was 12 years old, he was probably my favorite player in the NBA.
You had Chet being arguably a top 20 player in the league when he all said and done.
I mean, I think the team that he's on, they have the chance to win 2 to 3 rings over the next 6 years if they can somehow pull it together. If he does that, I don't think they will either. But theoretically, if he does that, he's already off to a great start. Now, I don't think he'll be the defender that Kevin Garnett is, but I think that he could be. I think he could be 2 points higher on potency on offense than Kevin Garnett, but 3 points lower on potency on defense. But I think those 2 points of more potency on offense will add up to an extra 3 to 5 points a game that KG wasn't able to do. Like I think Chet realistically could average 28 to 30 a game one day in his career. I think Wemby could average 30 to 35 a game one day in his career. But I don't think KG was ever going to be the guy that was going to be able to give you 30 a night, period, in any generation. 30 a night, it's a lot.
What was they doing when they made the playoffs? Obviously, that was 1 year, but where was he at when they made the playoffs? And it was him and Cassell. He had to be 27 a night.
Kevin Garnett never averaged over 24 points a game in his career. I'm sorry. He averaged 24.2 points per game that year.
That year, 24?
Yeah. But he gave you 13.9 rebounds a game, 2.2 blocks a game, 1.5 steals on 19.6 shots and only 2.6 turnovers a game, shooting basically 50% from the field and 25% from 3. So I think Chet will be able to be a guy that can get you 28 on 50% shooting, 90% from the free throw line, and 35 to 38% from 3, and still be able to give you 12 rebounds a night. He already gonna give you 2 to 3 blocks a night. He's doing it right now. The steals is where Kevin Garnett, as a man-to-man defender, is just a better defender. But I think offensively, Chet will be more potent than Kevin Garnett, and I think that if he can bring off a couple rings, he can be up there in that conversation. But it's gonna take a lot of work for him to do. Versus Wemby, I think Wemby is gonna win like 3 to 5 championships. I'm not even joking, because even if Pop isn't there, you know who I think gonna be the Spurs' next head coach?
Becky.
Manu Ginobili.
Interesting.
Like Ginobili basically is like an advisor to the team. He's at every single game. So it's Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan's an assistant coach. He's always with them on the practice floor. You see pictures of him behind the scenes. But Ginobili has little kids. His boys are like I don't know, like 6 to 10. So if Pop just signed a new deal a couple of years ago where he gonna coach at least for another 4 years, right? So think about it. If you're Manu, your boys are like 8 to 10 years old. You become the coach of the Spurs when they're around like 10 to 12. You coach them. Now they're a little bit older, so you don't have to necessarily be there every single day like because he's been retired for a while. And you coach the Spurs. I would not be surprised if Manu Ginobili became the head coach of the Spurs one day. And I think Trae Young will eventually end up in San Antonio.
Please.
I pray to God every day he goes there. Trae Young is going to end up in San Antonio, and we're going to see something that we have never seen before.
Put this Trae Young top.
Why? Him and Wemby?
Oh my goodness gracious. Talk about somebody who doesn't impact winning. I was about to ask you a question.
You're tripping. Trae Young and Wemby is that Trae Young and Wemby together. No, listen. You put Trae Young on this team right now. Put Trae Young on this team right now. They're a top 5 seed in the West.
He doesn't impact winning. TPJ. He doesn't impact winning.
But you want to know why you say that? Because they
don't win it. He's a man in Atlanta. They've been there. He's been there 5-6 years, and they don't.
No.
What have they been? They went to one
finish.
finals. That was a fluke, and they've been trash ever since.
No.
Why are you trying to give Trae Young some love?
I'm not. The reason why he is not a winner is because he is a number 2 playing number 1. He really needs to be with a real number 1 option, and he needs to be the number 2 option. I'm not looking at him going to San Antonio and thinking he's going to be the best player on the team. I want you to be the second. I need him to be the second best player on the team. I need him to give me 25 a night on 45+% shooting. I need 35+% shooting from 3. I need 10 assists a night, at least 6 a night to Wemby, and that is good enough for me. I don't need no. But listen, no, stop. Stop.
Please look at the numbers the last 2 seasons.
They're all-star level numbers, and he didn't make the all-star. He's averaging fucking 20 to 25 and 11.
Look at his numbers.
He's averaging fucking 25 and 11. What are we talking about?
He was shooting 30. He's shooting 33% last year. He was shooting 33% last year.
As the number 1 option. Give him a number 1 option and let him be the number 2 option. You telling me that if Clint Capella could still be putting up 15 and 10 or 15 and 12 with Trae Young by his side, that Wemby, who has no point guard and a team full of guys that don't want to throw him the ball, having a guy that is averaging 11 assists a game and is a defensive liability, but when Victor Wembanyama is on the floor, you cannot enter into the paint. So even the defensive liability that Trae Young is.
Everybody on San Antonio playing like they playing for a contract. They're playing like they playing for a new deal. They're playing like you're in the summer league playing for.
I actually disagree with that. I think they're not, because if you was playing for a contract, you would say, I need to make him successful.
No. That's not what they're thinking. I feel you. Get the ball to the big guy. Let me make him look good. Again, a la what Draymond was doing for Steph. Let me help that guy out. Let me make sure he don't want to play without. No, but they're looking. I think everybody but Vassell. And I'm kind of disappointed in Keontae Johnson, who was that played in the Olympic, who went to the Olympic team. Kind of disappointed in him. I thought he was.
Oh yeah, Keldon Johnson.
Keldon, excuse me. But a lot of those guys, yes, are playing like they don't want to get him the ball for whatever reason. I don't know. They don't like French man. They don't like his sister. His sister didn't give him no play. I don't know what the deal is, but nobody wants to be friends with Wemby, it appears, on that team. I don't know, man. I hear you. You make a valid point. If Trae's a number 1, he's a number 2 playing like the number 1. That might have something to do with it. That he's not the first guy I'm going to.
No, he is easily. He
wouldn't be the first guy I'm going to.
No, there's no other option in the league other than Trae Young.
I mean, because he's probably the most available guy.
No, because he's the best fit for that team. You don't need a defensive point guard. You don't need a scoring point guard. You need a playmaking point guard that can shoot.
Yeah.
And like, can you imagine a pick and pop with Trae Young and Victor Wembanyama? How you defend? And this is the crazy part. You can just, if you pop, yeah, we gonna call it PNP. What's that? Oh, that's a double option. They can choose if they want to pick and roll or pick and pop. Wemby really choose if he want to roll or if he want to pop.
So let me ask you this. We'll get back to the trade if you really want to talk about it. But let me ask you this.
No, I'm just saying. Like Wemby needs a guy like that in order for him to get to the championships that I think that he will be able to win. But him and Chet, they're not even on the same planet. They're not in the same universe. Wemby is an alien from outer space. And if he stays healthy, he will literally go down as the 5th or better greatest basketball player to ever play. And I honestly think he got a chance to finish his career, and people regard him as a better player than they regard LeBron James, because Wemby is a guy that could realistically win 5 MVPs and 5 Defensive Player of the Year awards. He's a guy that could realistically average 4 blocks a game while averaging 30 points a game. He's a guy that can realistically give you 4 blocks a game, 1.5 steals a game, 30 points a game, 15 rebounds a game, and 5 assists a game. We've never seen anything like that other than Wilt Chamberlain, and Wilt Chamberlain couldn't shoot free throws and he couldn't shoot, period. This kid, did you see that Wemby step back 3 over Kyle Anderson where he was dribbling on the post, step back, shot a fadeaway, didn't even look at the ball go in the rim and ran down the court? He just made 20. So to me, the conversation between them two, it's not one. It's only a conversation because Chet didn't play last year. If he would have played last year, we wouldn't even be talking about this right now. But now that we are here, the NBA does need to lean into it. I got one topic that I want to talk to you about really quickly. What you want to talk about?
Let me ask this question. As good as it all that you espoused over Victor Wembanyama, about all the potential that he has. We understand that he's not there today. We get it. However, the season that he's having, as good as the promise that we're showing, this might be blasphemous. I don't even feel right. I don't even feel right saying this.
No, you said it now. You started.
I don't even feel right saying this.
You know the rule. You start a take, finish the take. Start a take, finish the take. Don't.
How is his team won 12 games with Pop coaching the team?
Because they're losing games on purpose.
Oh, you think they're tanking on purpose?
Yeah, like
who are they taking for?
No, listen. Don't let me finish.
Go ahead.
I've obviously, because I like Wemby, I'm very entrenched in Spurs Twitter, and just listen to them talk. And basically, the Spurs have a bunch of draft picks over the next 3 years, basically, that'll be essentially good draft capital. I think even in the upcoming draft. Hold on, let me see. Hold on, wait a minute.
So this is a plan to acquire more talent.
So basically, the Spurs coming up this year, they have Toronto's pick, which is a top 1 to 6 protected pick. The Raptors are going to be in the lottery. So the Raptors will be in the lottery. So they'll have at least a 16th pick. They have their own first round pick this year. They also have a first round protected pick from Charlotte 1 through 14. So hopefully, if depending upon the way the balls fall for that, they would basically get hopefully either like outside lottery pick or someone that's like 15 or 16. So theoretically, if the balls bounce in the Spurs way, the proper way this year, they could wind up with basically 3 lottery picks, right? And they have a second round this year. That's the Lakers' second round pick. They also have Doug McDermott coming off the books this year, and like they'll have like $40 to $50 million worth of cap room this year also to go out in the market and spend. So if you're the Spurs, it would be dumb for you to try to win when you know you're not going to win. Let's tank. Let's be bad. If the Spurs fuck around and get the number 1 pick, this draft is not. It has guys that are going to be good players. I don't think it has like that 1-star guy that everyone is looking after in the NCAA. But this draft is full of guys that are talented, that can dribble, and good wings. So if you're the Spurs, you're either going to use those 3 picks or you're going to find a team like the Hawks and say, hey, we got 3 lottery picks.
So you only send them two lotteries.
We got 3 lottery picks, and we got enough cap room to absorb Trae Young's contract for a couple of these young guys. We'll give you Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson and 2 firsts and a first in the future. Give us Trae Young, and then you go out. It's not a lot for Trae. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. No. Yeah. We got to stop acting like I get that Trae Young has missed the All-Star game because of the system and the voting, but this guy is still a guy that's averaged 25 and been top 3 in the league in assists. We've never seen anybody average this many points in assists and not make an All-Star team. It's a literal fact. It's bullshit.
He's a leader and the team stinks. That's why.
The team ain't no fucking worse than LeBron team was when LeBron and them made the All-Star game. They was just as bad. No. When the Lakers when LeBron and AD made the All-Star game this year, the Lakers were the 11th seed in the play-in. Don't give me the win. No, I don't know. No, because that's weak.
That's name recognition and popularity contest. Absolutely.
Yes, but he got a big name. He just doesn't. It's just that what he did his first couple years, he went up so high his first couple years, and yet they have not been able to replicate. Call it luck, whatever. You play was in front of you. They have not been able to replicate it, and he gets penalized because of that. The same way Jason Tatum gets penalized by not being high in MVP voting, even though every year he's but that's my whole point with Trae Young. You're literally sitting here telling me that he doesn't win anything, even though he took his team to a conference finals. It doesn't matter. You play what's in front of you, Cam.
Your daughter wasn't born then. When they went to the finals, your daughter was not born.
You're a liar.
What are you talking about? She was not. Lola was not around then. And how is she? She walking and talking now? Ain't she in school by now? Come on,
they did that in 2021. My daughter was a year old. My daughter was born in October of 2020. My daughter was a year old. Stop it. Stop being disrespectful to Trae Young. He took his team to the conference finals. I don't know why you got this beef with Trae Young. I'm not saying he's the greatest. I'm not saying he's the best. I'm saying he's good at what he does.
They need a shooter who can draw somebody out and will still allow him to make the passes. I feel you.
So if you're the Spurs, you're going to either get really, really young and go and try to rebuild what OKC is doing with this youth movement. Or you're going to trade those picks, go get a guy like Trae Young, and then you still have $30 to $40 million in cap room. Go get you some guys and fill out the roster. Like, to me, if I'm the Spurs, Wemby being as good as he is this year, before going into the season, I thought, okay, we got 4 years before we need to make the playoffs. Now I'm thinking we need to make the playoffs next year, and we should be thinking we can win a championship in 4 years, because this guy is as good as LeBron James. He's as good as Shaq. He's as good as David Robinson. He's as good as Wilt Chamberlain. He's as good as Magic Johnson. He's as good as all of those guys. So you either are going to pussyfoot and play around and make him angry and want to leave, or you're going to, because you can tell clearly now that the kid does not like losing. He does, like, every post game. You put up a stat line. Nobody, I don't care. We didn't fucking win. That's what he says every time.
Grab the mic though. When was the last time you seen a rookie grab the mic at post game and say, "Can I get a go Spurs go"? I don't think I've seen that.
Which is even more reason, as if I'm the San Antonio Spurs, you got to lean into this kid, build a roster around this kid, and don't think that, and don't take it for granted. Because the other thing about it is, he's a freak of nature. Freak of natures are fragile. We know that. Now LeBron happens to be impenetrable android robot, athletic robot, but Victor Wembanyama is a physical freak. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I say that respectfully, because we've never seen anything like that before. So, yeah, if you're the Spurs, we going to try to build slowly. Yeah, but you don't know if this physical, fragile freak is going to stay in perfect physical condition. So, to me, it's like it would be dumb for them to delay trying to accelerate their pace and their growth waiting to be patient for the future when we've never seen a kid that's 7'5" that can dribble like Kevin Durant, shoot like Kevin Durant, can play in the post, can block shots as good or better than Rudy Gobert, and he's only played 45 games.
Yeah, I hate bringing up the I word, and I'm not going to bring it up here, but it's amazing.
What's the I word?
It's amazing that the kid hasn't had a twisted ankle, a sprained elbow, a broken finger. I'm happy for all that. So, but I think
ergonomically his game doesn't, like, a lot of big guys, their game is the reason why they get hurt. Even like KD, you always see Kevin Durant on the floor. I very rarely see Victor Wembanyama. Even Embiid, you always see Embiid falling on the ground or hitting the ground. I never see this kid on the ground. He does a great job ergonomically of like making sure that his limbs and his body is within himself, so he doesn't lead himself to injury like a lot of guys who try to flail. That's also, I think, the benefit of him playing in that French league is like he's used to rugged defense and tough competition because he's a million times better than those guys. So of course they're gonna try to be physical with him and rough him up, but for him coming to this league, it's like, yeah, y'all physical, but like for me, it's more about the stamina than it is about the physicality. I need to just make sure I stay within myself and play my game rather than trying to become an NBA player. I think he's just staying himself versus you see guys come in the league and then all of a sudden they flopping and they doing all the stuff that they weren't doing before because they're trying to play by the NBA rules. And I just think he's just playing basketball because he wants to be great. And therefore, why do I need to be falling on the ground to try to get a charge? I'm just going to block his shot.
Yeah.
Versus Embiid, it's like, oh, I'm gonna try to get a charge, or when he Euro step, he gonna hit somebody's leg on purpose so he can, get a layup. After you take 50 falls, something gonna break.
Yeah,
that's my only thing.
No, he's real good. I'm happy to get your perspective on that, but I think Wemby and Chet is a rivalry. It's interesting to hear you say if Chet actually played last season, it wouldn't even be a conversation. I find that pretty interesting.
I was out here creeping on the low, feeling like Usher in Confessions, yo. Had you out here blessing me, had you out here testing me.